right, everyone, we have Laura Brock here. She's going to give us some information about the CrossFit Jungle Gym Rehab Program. So the first question, Laura, that we have for you is, why did you do the CrossFit Jungle Gym Rehab Program? What injury or injuries did you have that required it?
So I frequent flyer. I had 3 injuries, but I'm going to talk about 2 of them. So my first injury is the one that actually brought me back to CrossFit Jungle Gym. So I have known Brian and Vanessa for 7 years since I started CrossFitting, and I came back to CrossFit Jungle Gym 3 years ago. I was having issues with my knee. The doctor diagnosed it as bursitis of the knee and basically said, rest, don't do anything. I wasn't overly thrilled with that. I'm not one who likes to sit at home. So I reached out and Brian put me in, or recommended that I go through the rehab program. And so I did, and we worked a lot on form and technique, and ironically, despite having knee problems, the focus at the time was actually building leg strength and doing a lot of squatting with proper technique. And so that was my first injury. And then my second injury was unrelated to CrossFit. I herniated a disc in my lower back. The doctor actually recommended surgery. That was not an option for me. They put me through physical therapy. I went for 6 weeks. It did nothing. I actually think it made it worse. And so I had taken a break from Jungle Gym at the time while I was going through physical therapy because the doctor had told me to rest. And after physical therapy wasn't working, I came back and I said, what can we do? Let's try and rehab it. And so I did some really intense programs with Brian to work through getting my strength back and being able to do what I could do while assessing the pain at the same time.
And what was the most frustrating part of your injury? You kind of already said you're not one to sit still, but what things did it keep you from doing? Obviously, maybe the basic like exercise, but anything else like your daily activities?
So I will tell you, the knee wasn't awful from a daily activities. My knee would occasionally pop out going up and down the stairs, not overly pleasant, but it didn't happen all the time. The herniated disc was actually pretty awful. I couldn't get out of bed in the middle of the night. I jokingly call it this, but my husband will say it's realistic. I did ninja roll off the bed to get out of bed. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I was like holding on to something to sit down. I mean, it was really, I got a stand-up station at work because I couldn't sit down in the chair for prolonged periods of time. Driving in the car was awful. So the back injury was brutal.
And kind of tell us a little bit about your path to returning to normal. Maybe that's like your doctor diagnosis, which you kind of already said, any personal training, or any physical therapy you did, any exercises at home, and then the rehab program. A little bit of background on that.
Yep. So I did nothing at home to rehab myself at all. For the knee injury, I really just came, I followed my program according to Brian. Jungle Gym has a really great rehab program that walks you through the steps, so there is a system and a process behind it. So with the knee injury, we followed it until the point that I was reintroduced into regular classes. For the back injury, like I said, I did do physical therapy. It wasn't working. I came here, and again, followed that same rigorous program, which I know Brian tweaked all sorts of ways because we used my pain as a guide. The second we felt pain, we stopped what we were doing and we regressed back a step to make sure we were moving, until we got to the point where I was still doing the rehab while also reintegrating back into regular sessions. And the great part about reintegrating back in is that all the coaches know you, they know your injury, and so every single workout that you're doing is still scalable, so I could still see myself progressing as I move forward.
And how long about, if you remember, did you go through the rehab program before you were reintroduced into classes?
So the knee was about 3 years ago, so I'd be guessing, but I'm pretty sure it was about 6 weeks on the knee. That wasn't as bad. I know the back injury took longer, but I'd like to say it was probably 6 to 9 weeks before I was doing both, still continuing with the rehab while also starting to just really scale back the workouts and getting back to regular workouts.
Good. Okay. And describe the results of the rehab program. So a lot of people are told, oh, just don't squat anymore. Your knees, either you get surgery or don't move in that position again. What were your results like? Are you feeling like you're back to 100% in terms of the knee and the back, and just a little bit about the results of the program?
Yep. So my knee, I mean, I still have issues with my knees from the sheer perspective of I played soccer growing up and I'm pretty sure my knees are just shot. But I squat to the same weights that I was doing before. I don't have pain when I squat. When I do, and I talked to the coach because I'm worried it's flaring up again. They had me do some mobility and like magic, I'm back to normal the next day and I'm totally fine.
For somebody who doesn't know what mobility is, like, can you give a little example? Like,
So what I found is 9 times out of 10, when my knee is bothering me, it means my hamstring, my IT band, or my quad is ridiculously tight. And so mobility is the coach working with me on stretching. So whether that's traditional stretching, which you're thinking just, touch your toes, or using bands, or using a foam roller, or having the coach assist by putting extra pressure on it, you work out the muscles to make sure that you loosen it up so that you have better mobility.
Great.
From the back perspective, go back to the question. Now I lost it.
From the back perspective, what do you feel like your results? Do you feel like
That's right.
you're back to moving the way you were?
Yep. So it's interesting because after the back injury, I had flat out told my husband I have no desire to try and deadlift over 150. Like, it's good enough. I want to deadlift. I'm not going to. The doctor wanted surgery. No more deadlifting. Don't do anything crazy. And I'm not that person, and I don't listen that well. But the flip side is I also don't feel the need to try and get back to deadlifting 215 pounds or anything ridiculous. I just want to be functional and be able to do workouts. But my favorite moment in the past year was actually we had our Halloween thing the other day, and we were doing a deadlift Congo line, and I wasn't paying attention to the weight. I'm going up and I'm deadlifting. And when I failed at weight, I asked Vanessa what the prior weight was, and when she told me 195, my head almost popped off because I don't think I've deadlifted more than 115 pounds in the past year because I've been scared to because of my back. And the weight went up, and again, I don't think I'm going to be doing workouts with 155 pounds anytime soon.
But you're progressing, still making steps in the right direction. And would you recommend this program to somebody who has a similar injury or any injury and they're maybe feeling hopeless or at a loss of what to do next?
Absolutely.
Okay, and do you feel like there's anything about the rehab program that somebody out there may not know, and I maybe didn't ask you a question to give a good answer to? Anything that you'd like to share?
I mean, I think I said it already, but it's not just the rehab. You guys gave me things to do and ways of scaling so that I could come back to class. So I was doing the rehab 1 time a week, which isn't a lot for someone like me who wants to be active. It's my stress relief. I come out of work and I'm ready to bite someone's head off. So only coming in 1 day a week or twice a week for rehab isn't enough for me. But we were able to very quickly get me to go to the class. And no, I wasn't doing the same things everyone else was doing, but being able to find ways to keep me active throughout was really important.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I was like...